Thank you, Premier. Deputy. The crisis is extraordinary and no more than in some of those focus areas of the Sydney Basin, the focus LGAs of Sydney Basin. And I just want to do a big shout out today to say a sincere thank you. The overwhelming majority of individuals, of families, of businesses, of community leaders have been working with and in conjunction with government and non-government organisation, providing guidance and assistance and the necessary details to ensure that we make provisions and assistance and supports available to those that need it most, and importantly, to seek to suppress the spread throughout these communities. They're focus LGAs for a reason. The complexity and the challenges cannot be overstated, but through extraordinary partnerships across government, Multicultural New South Wales, customer service, health, police and emergency services, an extraordinary array of organisations across the state government, through our Commonwealth partners, Services Australia, through health and ADF and others, but importantly, through local MPs, local councillors, local mayors, local governments, general managers and our community partner organisations, organisations like the Red Cross, Salvation Army, health and mental health services and support services. You name them, we've been in this together. And taking the guidance and the assistance means that we've been able to focus in a number of key areas around the nuance that's needed to accommodate the challenges and the circumstances that we rely on as a broader population to have viable operations occurring in these focus LGAs. Whether that be focuses around vaccinations and options for increasing vaccination rates, testing options and testing arrangements to ensure we get increased testing, surveillance testing, symptomatic testing, testing and isolating away from work, supports for community-led organisations and initiatives, partnering with local community leaders, religious leaders, business leaders, our elected leaders, all those leaders coming together to support one another and provide assistance and guidance on what works best is resulting in change, is resulting in improvement. Support and payments to businesses to help them be compliant, to help them have safer operating venues and limiting the mobility throughout those areas. It's been an extraordinary effort, and what we don't understand too often is that increasingly we learn that with the complexities and challenges and the extraordinary high proportion of infections rates throughout these communities, and we can't ignore the fact that we still see 85% of our daily cases centring around the focus LGAs. What we've also got to realise is that we are also critically dependent on the extraordinary men and women throughout these focus LGAs to keep us going. We identify that some of our transport services, some of our environment and waste services, our food distribution networks and our distribution centres and our goods getting out into supermarkets that we need and we rely on, you're talking 60, 70, 80% of the frontline critical workers are in these focus LGAs. So having a nuanced approach, a partnership that extends all levels of government and in particular community organisation is yielding benefit. We've got a long way to go, there's no doubt about it, but the inroads are being made and we're seeing that local approach, that engagement right across the emergency management arrangements here in New South Wales, extending out to provide the nuanced support and assistance that's critical to some of our more vulnerable and at-risk communities right across rural and regional areas of the state. So my message today is a sincere thank you to all the partnering, all the support, and particularly those communities. The overwhelming majority of who, 99% of people, individuals, families, businesses, are doing the right thing. We will continue the focus through Mr Warboys and the team on compliance, but we can't lose sight of the fact that everyone is doing their part as much as they can. The lockdowns, the limitations, the restrictions, the conditions that we face are challenging. There is no doubt about that, and there's no point dancing around the narrative. It's problematic, it's challenging, and I don't support the phrase social distancing. As a matter of fact, what we're talking about is physical distancing. Now in these tough times, more than ever, we need to be socially connected. We need to be reaching out, checking in on one another, making sure that we're looking after our own welfare and that of our loved ones, our families and our networks. But we do it virtually. We need to maintain the physical distance. We need to stay at home. We need to follow the rules. But now more than ever, we need to reach out and support one another. That text message, that phone call, that video chat, they are so important. And right now, we need to lift our spirits. We need to focus on the fact that we will get through this awful time, but we'll do it together, and we'll do it through looking out for each other and accessing and utilising the supports and services that are available. We'll give you the assurance that our efforts are resulting in extraordinary distribution of goods and materials and support and care services. Just in the last few weeks, last couple of months, something like 1,600 tonnes of food products in hampers, of personal care packs, the basic things around sanitary products and all those sorts of things are being distributed to those that need it most. Yes, there's been an extraordinary high proportion in focus LGAs, but it's also occurring right across the state. We'll continue to do that proactively, and for those in need, reach out through your local community organisations, reach out through your local council. We'll continue to partner with health and particularly support those that are forced into isolation for positive cases, but also there's access points through our Service New South Wales website. We will get through this together, and we want to make sure that people know the support and assistance is out there, and we're ready to provide that as and where is needed. Thank you.